I spent the last 4 days with the hybrid version of the all-new Toyota Innova Hycross, and in that time, I have driven it in city traffic, out on the open highways, tested all its new features, and of course the hybrid system to see how efficient it really is. So in a nutshell, I have come up with 5 things that I really like about this car and 2 things which I think are quite disappointing. Now, one of those things may stop you from buying this car anytime soon, but you know what? It's not even the car. It's actually an external factor which I will get to later on in this video. So make sure you watch all of it. Measuring 4.75 meters in length, 1.85 meters in width, 1.79 meters in height, and with a wheelbase of 2.85 meters, the Innova Hycross is a rather large MPV. In fact, its wheelbase is 100 millimeters longer than the Crista, and that's saying something. But that's not the talking point here. The real highlight is the SUV-centric design which gives it the kind of road presence and poise of a big burly SUV and not a people carrier. I especially like how in your face the front end is with its high bonnet line and this massive bumper. You also get chrome finish on the 18-inch alloy wheels for extra glamour. Sadly, Toyota has decided that the top-end ZX and ZXO versions should come with 50-section low-profile tires, which do not really fill up the wheel well as nicely as I would have liked. Moving further back, the window line tapers down towards the D pillar, which is the complete opposite of the Crista. Now this is of course in keeping with the SUV design theme, and if you ask me, it all looks very convincing overall. But what do you guys think of it? Do you like the Hycross for the way it looks, or do you still prefer the good old Crista? The cabin is also a big talking point. Now, Toyota has taken a big step forward when it comes to features. For instance, this is the most expensive version of the Hycross, and it gets a dual-tone dashboard finished in what looks like dark chestnut with soft touch materials nearly everywhere you touch. So yeah, compared to the Crista, the Hycross's cabin is not just good, it's great. Also, the Crista never really had the new age high-end features, but all of that has changed with the Hycross. In fact, in this most expensive version, Toyota has covered all the basics and then some more. You get electrically adjustable Ottoman seats in the second row, a large panoramic sunroof with ambient lighting, ventilated front seats, dual zone climate control, a 9-speaker JBL audio system including a subwoofer, a 360-degree camera, electric tailgate, rear sunblinds, and driver assistance systems including adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, a blind spot monitoring system, rear cross traffic alert, and pre-collision warning tech. The only couple of features missing as standard are wireless charging and a heads-up display. Here we have a strong hybrid setup where the petrol engine makes 172 brake horsepower and 188 Nm of torque, and is paired to an electric motor which is good for 11 brake horsepower and 206 Nm of torque. All that power and torque is sent to the front wheels through a CVT. Yep, this Innova is a front-wheel drive monocoque vehicle, and it's a far cry if you're used to driving the original Innova or the Crista. Let me show you how. So the startup sequence is pretty wild for an Innova. Thumb the starter button, pull the gear lever down to D, let go of the brakes, and you are moving in complete silence, courtesy of the nickel metal hydride battery which forms a part of the hybrid setup. Pulling away from your parking lot or from a stoplight, the Hycross picks up speed in a very smooth manner. So much so that it becomes difficult to get your head around the fact that you are driving a noiseless and vibration-free Innova. Now of course there will be some noise when the petrol engine kicks in, but even then this car remains very smooth and refined. Given that it's a self-charging hybrid, you have a dedicated EV driving mode which allows you to move forward using electric power alone. But I have to add that it's a very small battery which can run the car for short distances before it's out of juice. Ultimately, this setup works well in stop-and-go traffic wherein you tend to spend a lot of time without covering a whole lot of distance. In that case, the EV mode kicks in as soon as you let go of the throttle or apply braking. Naturally, this would happen quite often when you're driving in the city, although what you will end up doing is save on a lot of fuel when you're driving in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Of course, the hybrid system has its real-world benefits, and in the case of the Hycross, there is a big difference in mileage between the hybrid and the non-hybrid version. In our city mileage test, the Hycross Hybrid delivered a real-world efficiency of 13.26 km per litre. That's nearly twice as much as the non-hybrid model. Out on the highway, we noticed that the Hycross Hybrid would run on EV mode at speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. Naturally, it was way more efficient during our highway mileage test as well. In fact, with a mileage of 18.53 kilometers per liter, it's one of the most fuel efficient petrol powered vehicles that we have tested. The Hycross's ultimate party piece is its second row seating and all the comfort features around it. So you get individual leather seats which can be electrically adjusted, and if that's not enough, you also get electrically adjustable footrests for both, window blinds, a massive panoramic sunroof with ambient lighting, and a retractable storage bin in which you can put your coffee cup or your phone. Now in terms of comfort, the Ottoman seats are generously sized and they are well cushioned too. Given the long wheelbase and the ability to slide the middle seats all the way back, provided nobody is occupying the third row, the amount of legroom on offer is incredible. There is no shortage of headroom either, and because the Hycross is a fairly wide MPV, shoulder room is ample. The Hycross is a lovely chauffeur-driven car, but if you're someone who likes to drive and are far more likely to be on the driver's seat, then here's some good news. First of all, let me tell you already, for all its intimidating road presence, chunky doors and seemingly large controls, the Hycross is incredibly docile and approachable when it comes to daily driving. So the front seat is set quite high and I'm getting a commanding view of the road ahead. The driving position in fact is more like an SUV than a people mover. Also impressive is visibility from the side windows, and because the A-pillar is slimmer than the one on the Cresta, the Hycross is actually easier to maneuver in traffic. What adds to the user-friendly nature of the Hycross are the small yet significant features that I ended up using every time I drove it. For starters, the welcome function for the electric seat will automatically slide the seat behind for easier ingress and then slide it forward to the actual driving position once you press the start button. Then there is the hold function, which will retain the brake pressure and not let the car roll ahead even after you have taken your foot off the brake pedal, thus making driving in bumper-to-bumper traffic a lot more relaxing. You can also control the blower speed and temperature for the second row through the AC control panel up front. And finally, I like how the surround view cameras come into play on their own when you slow down to a certain speed. Makes it very easy to get a perspective of how close other cars are as you drive along. Toyota has used soft touch materials on the dash, the armrest and on the door pads, so it's natural that all the common touch points feel good. But it doesn't take a magnifying glass to spot the anomalies in this cabin. Actually, the finish on some of these hard plastics is just bad. I mean, take a look at this window switch panel or the gaps around the panels which make up the center console. Also, I am not a fan of the texture on these hard plastics. It's not like they're brittle or something, but they do feel cheap on what is basically a 36 lakh rupee car. Okay, here's something that's really disappointing about the hybrid version of the Innova Hycross. Now, the funny thing is that it's not even about the car, but the process of buying it. So the most expensive ZX option variant, the one that we have here, has a waiting period of 2 years. So if you book one today, you will be able to bring it home in the middle of 2025. Also, remember that you will be paying an ex-showroom price at the time of delivery then, and not what you see right now. If you like this video and want to see more, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, while you're at it, make sure you press the bell icon so that you're notified every time we make a new upload. Finally, our real-world mileage test is quite thorough and should help you in comparing cars. Now, if you want to check out the entire list of all the cars that we have tested for fuel economy, then you can click on the link below.